Hey everybody, Stephanie Schubert from Pacifica here. I'd like to welcome you to the tutorial on doing live programming from home. I want to apologize because unfortunately the first official roundtable on that subject got deleted by the technology gods. But Sharon Scott has graciously agreed to do another recording. So without further ado, here she is.
Hello, my name is Sharon Scott. I'm here in Louisville, Kentucky with WXOXLP. We've been broadcasting on the FM dial for 4 years now and online for about 7. So thank you for having me today. I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we've gotten our DJs remote broadcasting during this pandemic and enabled them to communicate with their listeners live from home. So it's a very exciting thing for us. It's actually a fairly simple process. So hopefully something that you guys can use at the end of the session. We have been committed to being a live radio station for a number of years, actually since we started. And so when the pandemic struck, it was a very difficult situation to try to figure out how to keep our programming live while protecting the safety of our DJs. I'm sure many of you have had the same issue. We tried a variety of things and we finally came up with a system that we think works pretty well, and we hope it'll work well for you also. So let me start by telling you that you probably already know how to do this, which is great. If your station is streaming online, then somebody has been through this process at your radio station and hopefully they can help you go through it again. Essentially, what you're going to be doing is setting up a secondary stream that mimics but never interrupts your main stream for your radio station. So you're going to set up a secondary stream, and the only audience for the secondary stream will be your staff, your DJs, and your computer in the radio station. So what happens is your DJs will access this stream and they will broadcast from their house, connect to the stream in the cloud, and then you will pick up that stream on your station computer, bring it in through the soundboard, and then out to your mainstream and out to the FM listeners. So that's kind of how it works. I've made my first ever PowerPoint presentation, and I'm gonna guide you through that step by step. But again, you probably already know how to do this, so that's what the great thing is. Now you just have to teach your DJs how to do it. So hold on, bear with me one second as I work with this technology and I figure out how to share my screen. Thank you for your patience. Let's see. Okay, so I think I'm doing it now. Hopefully you'll see the controls of Spaceship HAL from 2001. We call our station computer DJ HAL. I've heard several other radio stations do as well. So when I refer to HAL, I am talking about our station computer. But here he is in all his glory. And I don't think I have to impress upon you the importance of live broadcasting during a national emergency, but it is so important that we remain connected with our listeners at this time. So many of them are isolated. Some of them are alone and have been alone for weeks, almost months now, going on, so much time alone. And one of the things that people really need to stay healthy, stay mentally healthy, is companionship. And obviously radio can do that. We're an amazing resource. We're amazing reach with our voices. We can get into houses and apartments and places where other folks can't go right now. So never forget the importance of live broadcasting and how much it means for the listener just to hear a live voice on the other end of the line, but especially right now. Also, during this emergency, up-to-date information, up-to-the-minute information is critically important. So that's another reason why I want to emphasize how important it is that we stay live broadcasting as community stations during this time. Likewise, just hearing the regular programs can provide a sense of normalcy for your listeners. And the entertainment it provides and the excuse to stay home and listen to the radio, all that is very valuable as well. So we're super happy that we've been able to figure out a way to keep our broadcasters safe and healthy, and all the while they're modeling these social distancing practices, which are so important right now during the pandemic. So while the DJs are broadcasting from home, they're letting their listeners know, hey, I'm stuck at home too, working this out, and these are the sounds that I'm hearing. And then that's very interesting too. each DJ, each space has its certain sound. Some of our DJs are broadcasting from home. Well, actually, most of them are, but some of them have pets and animals and children running around. So you might hear some of that in the background, which is, I think, fun and intriguing. We have another DJ who's been doing his broadcast from his porch in a high traffic area. So you hear the neighbors going by and the traffic on the street and that sort of thing. So it can be really interesting programming, and programming we never hoped to provide, but here we are, and it's important that we do it. So, okay, so enough of the lecture of how important it is to stay live right now. I know you guys know, and I know your DJs know, and they're begging, please, when can we get back on the air? So this is a great way for them to do it and remain safe at home. The first step is that the station creates a secondary stream. I'll refer to this from now on as the DJ stream, again, because only the DJs will have access to the stream, either to broadcast on the stream or to listen to it. No one else should know about it unless it's someone just helping them get their sound levels right, that kind of thing. But it's not going out to the wider audience until you bring it into your station computer and tell it to go out to the wider audience. So the step for the station is to create a DJ stream. You will contact a stream host provider, as you did again when you set up your original stream for your radio station, and they will provide you with a stream and codes on how to access that stream. The only difference between this and your primary stream is that you'll now be sharing those codes with your station staff, not just your engineer or your management. All of your staff will have access to these codes, and they will input these codes in some software that they will acquire. Now, I just want to take a moment to address some security issues here, which we feel there are very low security issues, because the stream will have a password on it, and you can change that password at any point should you need to. And should a DJ get on the stream and be saying things that the station itself doesn't agree with, or FCC questionable, what have you, you can just close that stream on your station computer and pull up something else to play. So you're not interrupting your primary stream. This is just another input coming into your station. So the security issues, I feel, are very low. Okay, so to set up a secondary stream, if you guys need a refresher, you simply find a stream host. We've been using Via Streaming for our main stream, which has been very reliable for 7 years, although recently I've had a hard time reaching their tech support. We've recently signed up with Abovecast for our DJ stream, our secondary stream, and they've been very helpful. And I do recommend them, although I have no stake in this. You can get whatever stream host you like. But Abovecast is $10 a month for 128 kilobytes. You want to get the highest bandwidth you can because you want to get some good sound quality. Most of the things I've found, 128 is about as high as you can go. But you can take the minimum listeners because really you're only going to have one main listener, which is your station computer. So, but at Abovecast, it went ahead and gave us 1,000 listeners, which is great because if we have a special event, we can always use this secondary stream for that. So set up your stream host, acquire a stream host, again, about $10 a month, very minimum amount of money for the benefits it provides. And once your station gets that stream host and has the new DJ stream, they will receive access codes and passwords from the stream host. And again, this information will be shared with the DJs, which is pretty much the only difference between setting up your original station stream and the new stream, is that you're sharing these codes with your staff. And in order to use those codes and to access the new stream that you've established, the DJs will need to download audio encoding software. Now, we've left this up to our DJs. It's on them to get this software. Luckily for the PC folks, there are free programs. Rocket Broadcaster is one, and broadcasting using this tool is another one that we've had success with. And Audio Hijack is the software that we really recommend for Macs. It's a wonderful piece of software. It's very user-friendly, lots of options, lots of great recording options as well as broadcasting options. The only drawback is it costs $60. That $60 can apply to all of your personal computers. So if you're at home, you can put it on your laptop and your desktop, but each individual needs their own license. So we've been able to help a few of our DJs get that software if they weren't able to afford it. But luckily, most of our DJs use PCs, so they've been all set with that. Once they download the software, which is a very simple process, just Google one of these names, download the software, and then they will be able to open up a setup page within the software. The software is very simple, so it will be easy to click around and find where you enter the setup info. And this is where they will enter the information that you are providing that was given to you by the stream host. So the stream host information goes here, the server, the port, the mount, the username, password. All that goes here in Rocket Broadcaster, and where the purple is over here in Broadcast using this tool. This is what Audio Hijack looks like on the Mac, and again in the purple is where the DJs will enter the access codes that you provide for them. And if they're able to save it, it's a good idea to save it. Here is a preset down here on Audio Hijack where they can save it for the future. And once they have the codes, I did it again, excuse me. Okay, once they have the codes, then that's all they're gonna really need to do with this broadcast software at all, besides start and stop it when it's time for them to go on and off the air. After that, they're just controlling the applications through their own computer, and they can adjust the volumes on their applications just through the applications themselves. Okay, so once they install the software and you've given them the codes, they've entered the codes from the stream host, now they're ready to go. As long as everything is ready on their end and their setup is ready to roll, then they'll be ready to broadcast. And all they'll have to do on their software is push start or start broadcast, whatever the case may be. And then you should be able to hear them on your secondary stream. And you hear the stream by pulling it up on a website or through your automation system when you're ready to go. So I can show you how that's working on our station computer here. So again, you're just gonna open, once they're broadcasting on stream 2, you just need to pick it up on your station computer. And you can do that through, through any number of web browsers. And here I am opening up both of them. Here's one. And then you will be provided with, you may need to ask, actually, I did have to ask AboveCast for a direct URL to the news stream that didn't require an external player like iTunes or whatnot. So you want to get a direct link to your stream from your stream host provider. Ours has kind of a funny name, but there it is. I've bookmarked it and I've got it in. Oh, don't want to be playing it right now. And I've pulled it up in a window here. And once I push play on that web browser player, then it comes in through our station, comes from the computer into our DJ HAL input on our station soundboard. I illuminate the button and I raise the levels, and then it is going out to our listeners. Whatever's happening on the DJ end is going out to our listeners. They're broadcasting from home. They're playing their favorite music on their favorite record player with their family around them, and it's wonderful. So I encourage you to try it. And as long as the levels on the soundboards are set correctly, you can kind of let this go remotely. This is something you won't need to mess with too much once you get it going, if you are able to get the DJs to hand off the stream to one another consecutively without dropping the stream. It all happens quite automatically, and no one has to be in the station at all. We do use LogMeIn to get into the station computer in case the stream drops or we have any trouble like that. But we are able to do all of that remotely once the soundboard is set properly. So that's it. That's kind of my lesson, and I hope that you have understood what is happening here. If not, you feel free to contact me. My email is gm@artxfm.com, and I'm definitely happy to answer any questions that you may have. So that's it in a synopsis. How we do it, I will answer a couple questions to try to predict what questions you might have. And the first one I'm thinking of is, how do the DJs, if all our DJs are broadcasting from home, how do the DJs hand it off to one another? So normally the DJ would come into the studio and one DJ would leave. Well, how does that happen when you're remote broadcasting? And that happens pretty seamlessly. And the way we do it is if there is a remote broadcaster before the DJ is coming on air, they get the text information from them, and before they go on air, they will wait for a text from the preceding DJ. And that preceding DJ, when they stop broadcast, sends a message to the DJ that's coming in and says, I've stopped broadcast. And that's when the next DJ knows when to push start broadcast on their software. And as long as this happens fairly smoothly, in fact, within 5 minutes, then our automation system will continue trying until it is able to connect to the new stream. If the DJs don't make that handoff within 5 minutes, then our automation will roll back to its auto mix, which we don't want. And then we lose the capacity to remote broadcast for the rest of the day until someone logs into the computer and tells it to go back to the stream. So I'll show you how our automation system looks. We use Megaseg. Again, we're all Mac-based here, so I'm sure folks have different applications you use for automation. But if you have an automation system, you probably have a way to pick up a URL. So when you want your automation to play the live broadcast of your DJs, you simply tell it to go to that URL. So let me see if I can pull it up here and show you guys how that works with Megaseg. Okay, so this is Megaseg on our station computer. And you can see, if you can see, it is playing the stream presently. Again, we have a conversation going on with Lucretia X, amazing feminist artist out in LA right now. The DJ is using Discord to bring Lucretia into her computer at home, and then she's using actually audio hijack to broadcast Discord out to our listeners. And then she can also bring in her music software and mix some music in the background and that kind of thing. So it's going pretty well. We've been able to have some DJs actually even co-host radio programs using either Discord or Zoom or Clean Feed as a way to get their voices together and chatting on air as they used to when they're in studio. So that's really fun. But in our scheduler, I'm able to schedule, let's see, events. I'm able to schedule events and times when the stream should go live and times when it needs to come back to the station mix, which for us, thankfully, is only overnight. But it's great. I've been able to program Megaseg that at the end of the day, it goes to our overnight mix. At 8 a.m., we start our live programming with Democracy Now!, which is the only show we don't produce in-house, or used to be in-house. Now, I guess, different term for that, but I'm not sure what it is. But Democracy is Now is the only program we bring in from elsewhere to air on our station. That gives us a little time in the morning when we're not using our stream too. So if anyone wants to log in and test the stream at that time, they can. But we have a very strict schedule and make sure we know who's logging in at what time, because only one DJ can be connected to stream 2 at a time. And we need to make sure we know who that is, especially when someone's needing it to broadcast. So it can be tricky. Once you've got everybody remote broadcasting, it's tricky to find times when folks can test it off air. But you really should work that in there. We've been allotting each DJ an hour's time to get in, mess around with the stream, make sure they're getting connected. We listen in for audio quality. That is the one tricky thing about this, is monitoring can be very difficult. And we're just doing it the old-fashioned way, just listening. Yeah, we've recommended that our DJs have a buddy that listens in and tells them how their audio sounds, both while they're testing and while they're actually on air. We're listening a lot of the times, but you know, we can't be listening all the time. So it's good for them to have a buddy that is listening specifically to their show. But we can, in the morning at 8 a.m., Democracy Now! Plays, and our automation system is told to go to Democracy Now!'s stream URL, play their stream, and then when that ends, our automation system is told to pick up the DJ stream too. And that continues on. The first DJ goes from 9 till 10. At 10, he or she texts the incoming DJ, I'm done, stop broadcasting, funny emoji, whatever it is, to let the next DJ know that they have stopped broadcast and now it is time for them to start broadcast. And again, that is a little bit of coordination with the DJs, but they've been able to do it. And our automation system will, once the stream drops for the first time, when the first DJ cuts off, it automatically tries to reconnect. And as long as the next DJ gets back on there very quickly, our automation system will pick it up and start playing it out to the DJs again. And usually that works very well, but there are times when the DJs can't seem to get connected within that 5 minutes time. And if that happens, our automation system stops trying to reconnect and goes back to the mix. And that's when we have a problem. And again, no one else can DJ for the rest of the day unless we log in and fix that. So it's very important that your DJs know they need to hand it off very quickly and be ready to go. If the incoming DJ is having technical issues and they're not able to connect, they need to restart their computer or whatever it is, then the first DJ should start broadcasting again, mainly so you don't drop it here on the automation system. So they need to be on call until the second DJ actually has connected. So I'm trying to think of other questions you all might have for this. When we're doing the testing with the DJs, again, we allot them an hour, and I ask them to broadcast for at least 20 minutes from their home, because there sometimes can be connectivity issues and you don't want to learn about that while you're on the air. So we get them up and streaming and running. We have them do a mic check, make sure the mic levels and the music levels are basically the same. And then we have them run their stream for 20 minutes just to make sure everything is stable. If you get any glitching noises or feedback or distortion, we've usually found that's an internet issue. So we definitely recommend that folks connect via Ethernet. That's not a very big expense for most people to buy an Ethernet cable that they can plug directly into their modem or router and be connected, wired in, and not using Wi-Fi, because some people have great Wi-Fi and they can use it no problem. Other people really need to be plugged in using the Ethernet. Other problems that we've seen are people getting feedback when they use their microphone, and generally those people are not wearing headphones. So if they add headphones to the mix, then that can help with the feedback issue. Let's see. You might have had this problem at your station where everything just gets glitchy or it gets stuck in a loop or something like that. That's usually a problem with the modem or the router. So if people are having those kind of problems, especially if they're plugged in by Ethernet, I then have them turn off and restart their modem and router and also their computer and get a fresh start. We've had a couple issues, really very rare, but a couple issues where we couldn't figure out what was going on, so we just had the DJ delete all the software, all the broadcasting software, and start over, and that fixed the problem. So that can be really good. Mic quality of internal mics varies. Some people can just use their computer mics and their computer audio, but sometimes those computer mics can be kind of crunchy and don't sound very good. So, you want to test those kinds of things out when you're getting started. USB microphones are fairly inexpensive. I've got the Yeti. I really like that one. So someone can just simply plug in a mic to their computer, and that can really help the sound of the audio. I have created a couple websites for you all and also for our DJs to help understand how this process works. And I'm going to see if I can share those for you right now, because I have a few extra things I'm probably not thinking of. So let me, hold on, if you just have a little patience. Again, all this is new to me, but we're all having to do what we can right now. And that's how we figure this out. So, lots of good things come out of bad situations. So hopefully everyone can stay safe and stay healthy and then emerge from this with new tools and new ideas. So that's the goal. Okay, now I've pulled it up here. Now I just have to figure out how to screen share again. Okay, I think I should do it. Okay, so this is a website I have created, again, for you all. So please use this, and hopefully it'll guide you through what I've just talked about today. artxfm.com/remote stations. So I'll just kind of scroll through this. We've been through it all. We don't need to go over it, but I just want to show you that I have the basic idea here if you need to share it with someone else in your staff. And I'm reminding you that this is very similar to your primary stream, but will not, in fact, interrupt your primary stream. It is a secondary DJ stream that you've set up through a stream hosting service. Then you've gotten the codes from the stream hosting service, and you're sharing those with your DJs, and they've added that to the software that they've downloaded. Once they have the audio inputs plugged into the software that they've gotten, then they're ready for a practice session, which again, I give the DJs an hour. Some of them get it right away. Others need to schedule a second time. Most of the difficulty that we've been seeing beyond internet connectivity issues has been problems with the DJ's equipment. Either there's something wrong with their computer, or there's something wrong with their mixer, or that kind of thing. So there's been some troubleshooting with that stuff. But if they can get all their equipment and their computer sounding good before they start broadcasting, then they should be okay once they get this broadcasting software. And so I've created a website for the DJs as well. Now, this is geared specifically to Art FM DJs, and you'll see some things here that are specific to our station. But otherwise, you are welcome to share this with your DJs just so they have an idea of what they're getting into. You'll see at the top of this page, I put a link to our stream too, so they can monitor what's going on right here through their phones or their computers. And then I've given another overview of how it works, which I don't think we need to go over again. And I've given a list of equipment that they'll need. The basic equipment that they need is a computer and an internet connection, preferably Ethernet for reliability issues. I do say that headphones are required as well, just because I've got really tired of the headache of dealing with people not understanding why they're getting so much feedback. So get those headphones, and that will really solve a lot of problems. Optional gear includes an external USB microphone, an external USB mixing board. Again, make sure this is a USB mixing board. We have not had good luck with plugging in 1/8" or 1/4" mixing boards, but the USB works very well, and the broadcasting software will recognize it right away. If you get the USB mixing soundboard, then you can add record players, CD players, cassette players, iPads, live instruments, and more. And we do have one musician who's doing an all live music show, and it's sounding great. The sound quality on this is fabulous. You can't tell whether or not you're in the studio or in somebody's attic. So it's great. Here's a list of the audio encoding software, also with links that might be helpful to your staff. And then again, just sort of an overview of how they get started. Again, very important to remind your DJs, do not log into the stream when it is not their scheduled time, either for their radio show or for their test. We have found that you can kick someone else off the stream. So if someone's doing their radio show and someone logs in outside of their time, they can actually throw them off the stream, and DJs get mad about that, as you know. So don't let that happen. And another thing also to remember, and your stream host will tell you this, but do not broadcast over your allotted bandwidth, which is usually 128 kilobytes per second. Some of the software will let you go higher, but if you do that, you will crash your server, and then you're gonna be off air. At least stream 2 will be off air, and you'll have to log into the server, and it's kind of a long process. Not so long, but it's annoying. So you don't want to have to do that. Make sure your DJs know that they cannot broadcast over 128 kilobytes per second. And when I send out the stream codes, I write that in big bold letters at the bottom. Okay, and again, when it's showtime, they should be all set up. All they need to do is contact the DJ before or after them, know when to push start broadcast, and away they go. When it's time for them to sign off air, then they will push stop broadcast on their end. And simultaneous to that, they'll be texting the incoming DJ saying, I just stopped. And then the next DJ will get that text, and they will start broadcast immediately. And again, they need to do that rather quickly. All right, here's just helpful tips. We've already talked about some of this. Wearing headphones. If you're getting feedback, put those on. If your stream is skipping or unstable, try plugging in on Ethernet instead of Wi-Fi. If it's still skipping and unstable, then you want to reset and restart the modem, router, and computer. If all else fails, just delete and reinstall the broadcasting software. Start over, see what happens. A lot of times if the DJs are having trouble connecting, almost always they've got something wrong in their setup info, so I have them send me a screenshot of what they're looking at, and I can look at that quickly and usually see where they entered the wrong number, or have the wrong thing capitalized or something like that. It's usually something very simple that they're not seeing because they've looked at it so much they need another pair of eyes on. So have them take a picture of their screen, their setup screen within the remote broadcasting software, send it over to you. You can troubleshoot from there. So I've provided a couple links. As mentioned, Zoom and Discord are good for doing interviews. Folks seem to like Clean Feed a little bit better for the audio quality. The difference is they don't provide video. So some people find it harder to interview someone long distance if they don't have the video to actually see them. But Clean Feed is another option. And here I've done a very basic drawing of what it takes to get your soundboard broadcasting remotely. And basically you've got your soundboard and your microphone and your iPad and your record player and your computer and your other record player are all plugged in to this external USB mixer. Then by USB cord, it is plugged into the broadcast computer, which has the broadcasting software on it. And then that's going out through Ethernet to the internet, connecting to Stream 2, and then we're picking that up through a web browser here at the radio station and putting it out through the soundboard to our mainstream and to our listeners on the FM dial. Here is an example mixer. This is a very inexpensive, under $100 mixer from Behringer. It only allows 2 inputs and a microphone. So if you've got someone that wants to go back and forth between their iPad and their computer, or between 2 record players, this is a great choice. If they want to get more sophisticated and add other things, they should definitely look for a larger soundboard with more inputs. And then here are some tools that might be helpful to your staff. Here is actually, if you click this logo, it will go to a manual that one of our DJs has pulled together on Rocket Broadcaster, just a very short 2-page tutorial on how to set up Rocket Broadcaster and how it works. Again, this is specific to our station, but it might be helpful to other stations as well. So, okay, and then we have examples again of what the different software looks like if folks want to have a look at that. And then we have a little instruction here on how to get started with Audio Hijack. And there's Audio Hijack again. You can also use Audio Hijack to pull in a recorder or other applications or other inputs. So that is a really versatile, great program. It's the one we would use here in studio. And this is how you turn your mic on and off in Audio Hijack. And this is kind of a little bit more sophisticated setup with Audio Hijack, but it can get kind of crazy from here. And down here is the button. Once it's all set up, then down here, all they do is push the button to start and stop the broadcast. So very simple. So I will be happy to share those links with you guys and happy to share this tutorial. Spread it around. We want more people broadcasting. The whole point is to get voices on the airwaves. Excuse my squeaky chair here. But it's been really fun to talk to you all. I've really enjoyed this conversation, one-way conversation, but I look forward to it being a two-way conversation. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. I'll be very glad to answer them for you, but it's a great process. Again, something you probably already know how to do. And all your DJs know how to use their apps at home, so they kind of know how to do it too. They just need the access code to get on that stream and a way for you to pull them up in the computer. So this is how it's done. Again, I'm Sharon Scott. This is WXOX Louisville. This is our production studio. We're just pulling together. We're making some renovations in our main studio while everybody's away. So, but we look forward to having everyone back. As you know, community radio is more than just a broadcast. It's really a place for people to come together and share ideas and get ideas out to the masses. So we really look forward to being able to be back in studio. But for now, we've been very successful at this remote broadcasting, and hopefully it's something you can learn from as well. So thank you so much, and I hope everybody has a great day and stays safe and stays careful and stays on the air. So wishing you all the best from Louisville. Take care.